Hi, everyone. We're the team at Setlist, the unified audio streaming platform. My name's Ivan Esmeralda, and I'm our technology officer, and I'm here with.
I'm Varun, the executive officer.
Sandra Hu, the operating officer.
Suj, the marketing officer.
And I'm Jesse, our financial officer.
So, as a college student, how do I spend my free time? Well, I'm usually studying. Whether it's a new homework assignment or a group project, I'm always spending time doing work. And if I'm not working, I like to get some exercise in. Whether it's going on a light run or lifting weights on a daily basis, I like to keep an active lifestyle. And if I'm not doing these two things, then I like to pretend that I'm a DJ and take the aux cord at any social function. So, what do these activities all have in common? The answer is music. Whether you're exercising, studying, or pretending to be a professional DJ, we're always playing music out of our phones, which requires us to use several different audio streaming platforms, whether it's YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, or even Pandora. As college students, we're always playing music from our phones, which brings a huge problem. The problem is that switching between different audio streaming platforms, whether it's to source content, create playlists, or share music, is a terribly inconvenient experience. For example, the current workflow for a college student that's using more than one audio streaming platform is that you can imagine a scenario where our financial officer, Jesse, sends me a song to listen to, These Days by Drake. I search for it on my first app, I can't find it. I look for it on Apple Music, my secondary driver, and I'm faced with songs by a different artist that isn't the same that he sent me. I look on my third application, Shazam, and the same thing. I find songs by a different artist. Then I look on Pandora, and at this point, I'm starting to believe that the song that Jesse sent me doesn't actually exist. And then my fourth option will be to go on SoundCloud, which I know has old remixes and an extended library. I look it up, and I finally find the song. So here on the left, you can see a clear problem where I had to go through 5 different audio streaming platforms to find a single piece of content, a problem that Setlist offers to solve through a platform agnostic solution where you can create and source content from different audio streaming platforms in a single location. And now, Sui will explain the platform and exactly how it works.
Following what Ivan said, Setlist is the world's first integrated audio streaming platform, allowing users to enjoy all their favorite audio contents in one place. As you can see on the slide, this is a simulation of what the interface will look like. Setlist will source contents from other streaming services, so you can create a playlist containing Watermelon Sugar from Spotify, Dynamite from Pandora, and more, which will flow automatically without effort of switching apps. Setlist's powerful suite of features, including cross-platform playlists, discovery page, content recommendations, content sharing, and more, is built by leveraging public APIs and SDKs of other audio streaming services. So far, what we talked about are more on our view of problem and solution, but objectively, from a market size view, how big the problem is. Database of Statista shows that the audio streaming industry is fastly growing. Globally, nearly 600 million paid monthly active users raised the market to $16.4 billion in 2020, further projected to reach $18.9 billion in 2022. It is mainly because of the increased access to streaming-enabled devices, and users are shifting from purchasing records and albums to paying for streaming services, among which 49.8%, which is 296.7 million users, use 2 or more streaming platforms, showing the problem is potentially common among us. Although the market is promising, there is no similar softwares existing. Setlist will be the first platform to bridge different audio streaming services, and we aim to partner with other platforms to bring this to reality. However, we ultimately will be competing with these companies for app interface interaction, like making users listen to Spotify, Apple Music, etc. from Setlist. Each of the major players in market has its advantages and disadvantages. Like Spotify has a global reach of 92 countries and provide podcasting services, but does not provide lyrics for all countries as shown in slides. But most importantly, each of them shows different levels of limited audio availability. To access more music, consumers have to use more apps. This is exactly why we need Setlist. With Setlist, limited audio availability will no longer be a problem, and we will draw benefits from all platforms with further work on weak points, including adding collaborative playlist creation and full artist library. Sandra will then talk more about market we will primarily address, as I mentioned, which is the multi-service users.
Thank you, Sui. So Setlist will make its unique position in the audio streaming industry in that we have a more specific addressable group of users than the previously mentioned other streaming services. There are actually 296.7 million individuals who are paying for more than one audio streaming platforms all over the globe. And Setlist wants to initially target these users specifically in simplifying their streaming experiences of using Pandora, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, and many other apps all at once. 296.7 million subscribers. This number represents a very favorable and attractive market for Setlist to firstly enter. And this number will continue to increase by a 6% annually within the next 5 years. So how could Setlist attract these users as many as possible? One of our strategies is to monetize these users by employing a subscription-based revenue model. Setlist will offer a free monthly trial to initially attract a large number of users, followed by a monthly subscription at a cost of $2.99 US. $2.99 is much less than the cost of subscribing to other popular streaming services at an average of $9.99. And especially if you are paying for 2 or more of those services. This price reflects our customers' perceived value of Setlist's unique features, as well as Setlist's ability to integrate audio content across all the platforms. With this pricing strategy, we believe Setlist will acquire 0.05% of the total addressable users in the first year of its launching, and then gradually capture a 3% of those users in the 5th year, so that we can secure at least 9.5 million total subscribers of Setlist by then. Varun will then elaborate on how we plan to begin the Setlist journey from college and how this projected expansion of our customer base could be further realized with our sales and marketing strategies.
Thanks, Sandra. Reaching 100,000 users in the first 3 quarters is crucial for Setlist's success. To acquire these new users and gather momentum, Setlist plans to target individuals aged between 18 to 24 who are predominantly college-going students. Because of all the people who are using more than 2 streaming services, 57% of them are aged between 18 to 34. And a significant chunk of this 57% goes to college. Setlist's college launch strategy accelerates new user signups due to the high interaction rates among these students, in addition to high music consumption rates among these young adults. Before we launch Setlist to the market, we plan to create a private beta program for a limited group of users using our Penn student network and also our personal networks. Launching the private beta program allows us to test multiple versions of Setlist. Furthermore, we'll be able to collect feedback and learn from these early adopters and iterate our offerings accordingly. With deep analytics and monitoring user behavior, we will prioritize our feature list. Now, let's look at Setlist execution strategy, which is divided into 4 phases of growth. After completing the private beta program, we plan to roll out Setlist across all 8 IVs, comprising and reaching out to more than 150,000 students across all campuses. Initially, Setlist will support 4 streaming services, that is Apple Music, Pandora, Spotify, and SoundCloud, as these are the dominant players in the market and also are popular among student communities. In this phase of growth, the entire sales funnel will be predominantly propelled by Campus Ambassador program and also incentivizing Refer a Friend feature on the app. We will closely monitor the streaming behavior from the initial launch and stress test our assumptions derived from our private beta program. After we have validated all our assumptions, we will unleash the next phase of growth for Setlist by expanding it to all colleges across the US. There are approximately 20 million students across all colleges in the US, and more than 2 million students pay for the music streaming services. In this phase of growth, the entire sales channel will be through targeted social media ads. And more importantly, we plan to support more than 20 streaming services out there, providing an inclusive platform matching music tastes of each and every student out there. And in the third phase, we plan to target the entire Gen Z and millennial population. In this phase of growth, we plan to onboard all and support all major voice assistants such as Siri, Google, and Alexa, making Setlist the most important and de facto music interface preference for all these people who are using smart speakers. This phase of growth will be fueled by striking win-win partnerships with companies having millennial and Gen Z user bases such as Robinhood, Lemonade Insurance, etc. Finally, Setlist will be expanding by targeting EMEA and Southeast Asian markets. As you can observe, apart from delivering top feature engineering, sales and marketing strategy is at the core of Setlist success. Now, Jesse will elaborate more on the financial aspects of our business that drives our strategy.
Thank you, Varun. With regards to financial projections, this 5-year timeline displays Setlist's projected revenue, expenses, and net earnings. The color transition in the timeline represents Setlist becoming profitable in 2023. We calculated our projected revenue as a function of the expected number of Setlist users, which Sandra discussed earlier. In terms of our expenses, it is important to note that our cost of goods sold consists primarily of payments to cloud service providers for cloud computing capability and storage. Although costly, Setlist will leverage existing cloud infrastructures to scale significantly. Our cost of goods sold also includes licensing fees, as we recognize the importance of acknowledging and supporting content creators. Our operating expenses primarily include marketing, product development, and R&D. In terms of Setlist as an investment opportunity, the structuring of our offer is in line with the funding needs Setlist has to reach our significant milestones. Given the relatively simple structure and opportunity to gain access quickly to much needed capital, we believe that raising our first round of outside funds through a convertible note will allow us to achieve our short-term goals. We're looking to initially raise $1.25 million. This capital will be used to develop our beta version and support our marketing initiatives. The other terms we seek for our convertible note are relatively standard and are listed here. We also plan on raising additional capital through an equity financing round the following year. This capital will be used to iterate on our results from the beta launch and bring a complete Setlist product offering to market. We are open to negotiating the other terms of that financing round, but are ultimately looking to align founders and investors' interests to position Setlist for the most success. So what are the likely exit opportunities for our investors? We believe that an acquisition is the most probable exit, and there are various companies who will be interested in acquiring Setlist. Let's start with other streaming services. Assuming Setlist is able to grow its user base according to projections, Setlist will represent a significant opportunity to attract users to users of other streaming services to its platform. These types of companies have made numerous acquisitions in the past, and thus we see this group as containing Setlist's most likely acquirer. Music hardware and smart speaker companies could pair Setlist with their specific devices to attract a greater number of individuals to stream music through those devices. And many global and social media companies already have strategic partnerships with or operate their own streaming services and could derive significant value from acquiring Setlist. It is important to note that any sort of liquidation event where Setlist is valued at the end of year 2025 valuation shown previously would result in seed and Series A investors realizing a 182% and 220% return on their investments respectively.
At Setlist, we believe that we are our own customers. As you can see here, here's the founding team and all of the audio streaming platforms that we use on a daily basis. Because of this, we believe that we can bring Setlist to life and create the first unified audio streaming platform. Setlist, all of your favorite audio contents in a single location. We will now accept any questions that you might have.